if you thought there wasn't a lot going on in the last part, welcome to part 36 of Ocarina of Time 3D, where a whole lot doesn't happen in this one either. All we do is we get the 4 Big Poes that we have left, which gives us the final bottle. We get some fairies and bugs, and then make our way to Dodongo's Cavern, where in the next part, we get some Gold Skulltulas.
So there's a lot of excitement going on.
Yeah, there's not any at all. I mean, the Big Poe quest is kind of boring, really. It's tedious, but you're doing the same thing 10 times, just in different locations.
And that's right. I'm pretty sure I've only done this once in all the times I've played through this game, because it is just boring.
This is the first time I did it.
Yeah.
Like I said, was this recording? It's because I had to, because I was doing 100% walkthrough.
Yep. But to be 100% honest, I will say, I mean, you don't need the 4th bottle.
No, you really don't. This game is rather easy, and I'm playing through Link to the Past right now. And that game is actually a lot harder than I remember it.
It is.
In this game, like, it's lacking in enemies. Just like the dungeons, they just have a lot of enemies, like, you know, in like a tight spaces or anything like that. So, as you said, you really don't need 4 bottles.
I will say it would have come in handy a little earlier, because you looked at all the times that we were trying to collect bugs for Skulltulas. Plus, you always like to have a fairy or something just
that is true,
for reserve. Earlier in the game, I feel like it would have been great to have the 4th bottle.
Yeah, because you play a lot of bugs. We still do that a little bit throughout the rest of the game, but I feel like we've already played it quite a bit. So
we have.
Yeah, haven't. But at the same time, like, you know, I do practice these recordings behind the scenes, so I wasn't planning on ever dying.
No.
So I could have actually used bugs in every single bottle I had.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you're pretty good at this game, like you said, having 4 fairies is overkill.
But it's a completionist, you know, people that want to get everything. I thought balls are usually not that hard to get, except for Majora's Mask, because there were like 7, I believe, in that game. It was 6.
There were a lot.
6 or 7 or 8. It's somewhere between 6 and 8. But like some of those were a little bit tougher, but there were more. But usually bottles, like the first 3 were pretty simple to get, and this one just, I don't know.
It's tedious.
Yeah, it's tedious. Usually bottles are just easier to get.
Yeah, and as you can tell, I mean, we're killing time.
I'm cool with going off topic on anything in this part, because, I mean, except for the views, like, that you get to see, which is always nice, obviously.
It is.
Especially in the 3D remake, but we've already been out in Hyrule Field quite a bit, so.
Hey, at least we're riding Epona instead of walking the whole time.
Yeah, oh my god, that would be awful.
Could you imagine this quest if we were stuck on foot?
Oh, that'd be terrible. I couldn't imagine this quest on the N64 version either, because it is so hard to aim with that joystick, and without the gyro controls, I think. Yeah, we talked about it last time, but those controls made it so much easier on this game. I tried on the N64 version a couple times. And dude, you know me with that joystick. It's like Halo. I'm all over the place with that thing.
I will say I kind of like how we in the last part we talked a little bit about like maybe the story behind the ghost collector and everything. Yeah. So it's another one of those side characters that we get to know a little bit. We get to debate a little bit. But still,
I just wish there was something different. I don't really know what. Like, okay, you get 10 Poes, but like maybe you took them different places. Maybe there's more Poe shops.
That would be interesting.
And like, you know, even something that simple where you just took certain, like, you know, number to certain places to like satisfy them.
At least it would spice it up.
Yeah, you know, something a little bit different. Maybe like, you know, they each have a little bit different story or something like that.
Now there's an idea.
Maybe they're brothers. They all hate each other. Like, there's some way that they could have added to it a little bit more.
Or what if the Big Poes were like spirits of people who we met as Child Link? But who died when Ganondorf took over.
Like we said, that's the guard right there, so you could have, you know, a couple in different areas. But we're complaining about a game that's already really great, so, you know.
It is. It's just we're in those in-between dungeon parts that they drag a little bit. But like you said, we're trying to get everything, so just in case you guys want to figure out how to get that 4th bottle.
Yeah. I have nothing.
I was taking a drink of my beer hoping you had something.
I saw you taking a drink of your beer. I was like, okay, it's my turn. I was like, I got nothing right now. So.
It almost came out my nose.
But I know you want to talk about this right here, and that's the view of this ring we get with Death Mountain.
Just when it's night, when it's daytime, it looks cool.
It does.
Don't get me wrong, but when it's night and you get that fire ring around Death Mountain, I know Navi's been talking about it for about the last 3 parts.
Yes, she has been.
But it really pops at night and on that 3D just having that bright red fire ring up in the sky against the dark blue
like you said
night.
with the 3D, like those colors, they pop just a little bit more in the remake, which makes it stand out just a tad bit more. But
it does.
I don't know.
Was that the 10th Poe finally?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Woo! Success!
Like, do we have stars in the N64 version? Because I look in the night sky, I see stars, and I'm not saying that wasn't in the N64 version, but like I really don't remember it.
I have no idea. Again, the detail that goes into the 3DS version, and you'll see that especially in the dungeons. We talked about it a little bit with Forest Temple, the Fire Temple, and the Water Temple especially. Yes. A lot of those symbols really pop. So I honestly couldn't tell you if like the Starry Sky and things like that were in the Nintendo 64 version.
I think one thing that I liked about Ocarina of Time 3D was it kept it so similar to the original version. Like Majora's Mask 3D, they switched a lot of stuff.
They did
in that game, whereas this one all we have is like a couple boss fights.
But even those are mostly the same.
Yeah, they're mostly the same. Like, but there's no new strategies or anything. And I kind of, when you have a classic like this, like I like that they kept it like that. You know, now Majora's Mask, I was okay with some of their changes.
Some of them were for the better.
Yeah, some of them were for the better. I don't understand why they changed some of them, but I don't know. Just like when you have a classic like this, stick to the formula that works, and I'm glad they did.
Like things like the Bomber's Notebook that they changed in Majora's Mask.
Yes, that was huge.
Much for the better.
Huge.
But some of the boss fights, I feel like they changed for no reason. But that's
George. That one video.
George the fish.
Yorg was better. I did like that boss fight, but. We're going to get fairies right now. I was like, where are we going now?
I know.
I'm surprised we actually not opened up this hole yet in the game.
Well, it's one of the first times we've really gone somewhere and collected fairies, I feel like. Because we've always had one or two.
Well, as I was playing the game, there was always an area like, for example, the Sacred Force Metal, where there's fairies there. I was always kind of going through places where I could grab like one or two fairies, and this is the first time that, I was in the area, so I said, well, let's go ahead and get it right here then.
Now, it's nice to remember where these are, especially now. You're actually going to see we only fill up 3 of the bottles because we're going to go back and get another bug.
Yeah, bugs.
But it's great to, whenever you see these, to go ahead and load up on as many as you can. Now, I wish... And I love this about A Link Between Worlds. You could drop pins on the map in certain locations, and you couldn't do this, and you couldn't do that in Ocarina of Time. It would have been nice to mark where this
on the 3D remake. Okay, I got you saying now. I thought you meant like the original version. I was like,
oh no,
I don't think it could have done that really, but now I kind of get what you're saying. You know, pins are like texting me. I really don't mess with them in Zelda games, so I don't think I marked anything in A Link Between Worlds.
I did a few times just because there were a few areas you couldn't get to early because of the weapons you had, and I'm like, I need to remember to come back to this place at some point.
See, I have good visual memory. Like, if I look on a map, I'm like, okay, something is right here. I remember that. It's when I have to read about something and process that later on that I have troubles with it. I'm like, I wasn't paying attention to what he was saying.
Plus, when it comes to A Link Between Worlds, the world is a lot smaller.
Yes, that is true.
It's your Link to the Past map, basically.
I don't know if you saw Death Mountain right there, but you can actually see the spiral, not staircase, but the walkway.
Oh, nice.
And that's the first time I actually noticed it. You can see it. Yeah, trail. That's exactly what it's called. But you see that trail kind of going around Death Mountain. Never noticed that until this part.
I never did either.
Bugs.
Speaking of this part, you've seen us.
And we're going to get bugs.
We've come to Kakariko Village for bugs many times. I mean, there's that one rock that we know exactly where it's at.
There's a couple more, and I actually did look like where they were at, but this one, the graveyard always seems like you're around that area or close to that area, so I don't know, just one of those things. I knew someone was here. Yeah. And also, for this part, I actually was going this way, so let's go ahead and stop here before I go up to the Dodongos, which, whatever.
Well, we'll talk about this a little bit more in the next part. It's kind of interesting to go back to the Dodongos as an adult. It's the only cavern. Well, I guess that's
what I hate about the Skulltula quest. Like we'll talk about, like you said, when we get there in the next part, a little bit more, obviously, because that's all we really. Well, actually, we do a lot more. That's
about half of it.
But I like going back, but I don't know. There's a couple tough ones. Well, there's one tough one. into Dodongos. You know, I don't know why
we'll get there.
We're trying to waste this final minute here in commentary.
Well, what are we doing now?
I was just blabbering on about the next part, trying to fill time.
I'm trying to remember what in the world we're even doing now.
We're just literally just walking. We're just literally walking up to Dodongo's Cavern because you can't use Epona in the village, which.
At least Dodongo's Cavern is close to the entrance to Death Mountain Trail. I mean, it's not like the crater that's all the way at the top. You know, we only have to walk 30 seconds here, if that.
And we get saw in the next part where we can warp to the mountain, but like right here,
so convenient.
It's kind of, it's a long stretch from Kakariko Village all the way to the top of that mountain. It just takes a lot of time.
And you'll see us do that a little bit in the next part. Yes. But this goes and wraps up part 36 of Ocarina of Time 3D.